Hi, Z-Fam Mama here, and today I'm going to come to you with a little more of a serious subject, death. So this is going to be a two-part series. The first part it's going to be dealing with the death of a parent, and then the next part I'll do later is how to handle your children with the death of a grandparent. So to start, today is February 27th, 2017, and today marks the 2-year anniversary that my mom passed away. I'll start out with letting you know that I know she's in heaven because I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus Christ, and so did she. And so I know that I will see her again when I die and go to heaven, and things will be perfect there. Going back 2 years, my mom was a very healthy person. She was 63 years old, and she was not feeling well for a couple days, and she had gone to the doctor, yada yada. And then Friday morning, went over. My dad had let me know to come by, and I went by, and she just wasn't looking good. So we decided to take her into the hospital. Well, we took her there that morning, and by Friday afternoon, she had passed away. She had bronchitis that turned into sepsis. So watching them do literal life-saving, actions on my mom was very hard to watch. It's still embedded here in my brain. There's days I wish it would just go away. Those are not fond memories I have. The fond memories I have are the days we spent together. We always spent Wednesday together. So we did a Bible study together and had coffee in the morning and lunch. And then we'd have dinner at each other's houses. We'd flip-flop every other Wednesday. So really, really cherished times. I mean, I talked to my mom on the phone almost daily. We really were best friends. So not only did I lose my mom, but I lost my best friend. So dealing with it. There's a lot of different aspects to death, depending on who it is, right? So I'm coming to you today on a death of a parent, mom specifically. My dad is still alive. I'm still blessed to have him around and be able to talk to him and see him. But there's a lot of dynamics that have changed, and everybody grieves differently. I have a brother and I have a sister who are living. And so for myself, I grieve differently than they grieve even. So I think one of the things I would have to say is have a little bit of compassion towards your siblings, whether they're grieving the same as you or different than you. Just have some compassion towards them. And then also for the parent side of it. So a few things I'll kind of hit on is maybe when it comes to the actual funeral process, maybe you're a take charge person. Maybe you are okay with handling some of that. Maybe a sibling is not. Maybe you're not. Maybe your sibling needs to be able to do that. So just give grace to each other, knowing that this is a tough time and you've lost a very important person to you. And I know I just come from a spot where I was extremely close to my mom. I know people aren't necessarily close to their mom, but when death hits, all of a sudden every memory, every thought you've had just comes right to the surface. And there can be thoughts of regrets. There can be wishing you had done something. The best part is if your parents are still alive, make it so you have no regrets. I can tell you with my mom, I don't have regrets. I loved that woman. We had great times together. I miss her like crazy. And unfortunately, there's no timeline for like, hey, guess what? So a month's gone by, 6 months has gone by, 3 years have gone by, you're good. It's not like that. And for some people, they can push down their feelings and it doesn't even surface for, year, 6 months, whatever. For me, it was an immediate shock. Like I told you, she died very, very quickly. I was not expecting it. Like I said, very healthy woman. We used to do Wednesdays together. Like we were active. She was in really good health. So it was a shocking death. It's not like one where I watched my mother suffer for a long period of time. I haven't gone through that kind of thing. And I'm sorry if you have. I can't imagine even going through that. Okay, honestly, I can't stand death. I know it's part of life, but it's just not easy. And there's no guidebook or people who say, well, this will make it easier. Because to be honest with you, there is nothing that's made her death easier. I can tell you I've used things to help cope through the day. So like I said, praying, prayer is definitely a helper, but it doesn't make all your feelings go away. It just gives you somebody to rely on. Memories, though, We always have those. And I personally am a crier. So I cry a lot. This is just intensified. And so I would say if you have somebody who you can talk to, who you can share with, and maybe it's the same story over and over again, who will listen to you and just be totally compassionate to you of talking about your parent, to say, I miss her, I miss her, I miss her. And I know I've said this story 14 times, and thank you for listening again. Find that somebody in your life. Maybe it is a sibling. Maybe you're sharing stories. Maybe it's a, older child. Maybe it's your other parent who's still alive. I don't know. But if you can find somebody to talk to, the best part for me for healing is to be able to talk about her. The more I talk about her, the more I heal, the more I laugh, the more I keep her memory so close to me. We have an old cell phone video. Actually, it was the last Wednesday we had done together before she had died. And my daughter took the video, and it's her literally saying my name. And I was in the store at the time, but she had said my name on the video. And I just love going back and just listening to her voice on that, because it's so special that I can hear her voice, because I can't hear it. I don't believe that they can speak from heaven or see us from heaven. So it's just one of those things that I just literally cherish. So I would say to you, hold on to the things that remind you of that, of your mom, of your dad. And there's nothing wrong with any type of grieving you do. And never let somebody tell you, get over it. You never get over a death of a parent. You just don't. You just learn how to deal, and you have a new normal, whatever that really is. So many aspects of death. And I'm covering this, and I may come up and give you another video of more things I've thought about. Like I say, it's only been 2 years. And it honestly doesn't even feel like that, because the first year for me, it's like that. You almost expect to be really emotional, like, oh, the first Easter without her, the first birthday without her, a lot of the seconds were harder for me. My second birthday without her was a lot harder than my first birthday without her. The second Christmas, things like the seconds actually hit me a little bit harder than the first ones. And I don't know if it's because people tell me, you've got your first coming up, and I had a lot of people around me who were very supportive of the firsts, but the seconds were really, really hard for me. That's just me personally. I don't know what the thirds are going to be. You might get a new video next year. I don't know. So now let me talk a little bit, since my dad is alive, the difference in your parents. Now, he just lost the love of his life. I didn't want him to be alone. I actually told him I was fine with him dating. He does have a girlfriend. I'm happy for my dad. I'm happy he has somebody who he can spend time with, who he can enjoy. I know he loved my mother, and he didn't love her any less because he has a girlfriend now. I'll go into it on the next video with how to deal with kids. That's a little different situation for me. But for myself, getting used to him having a girlfriend and walking into my parents' house where my mom used to be, and now there's a girlfriend standing in the kitchen. Whew. That's very, very different. And if you would have told me this, I wouldn't have believed any of it, because it just is different. And everybody goes through things differently. And you may have a sibling who cannot stand the idea and won't be around it. Or you may have a sibling who is totally fine with it. And you may be one of those people who is or isn't. I'm just saying it's okay. Whatever your feelings are, it's okay. Treat people kindly. Just because you're grieving doesn't mean everybody else is going to grieve. And it doesn't mean they're going to grieve the same way. And I think that's the most important part, is to remember that we all grieve differently. Some people grieve really hard in the very beginning, and then it gets easier. Some people just grieve the same throughout. Some people bottle it up, and then it all comes out. And then you go, oh, they're angry. No, they're probably not angry. They're probably just hurting. And so be gracious to your siblings, like I said. Be gracious to your parent who's still alive. And remember, their life has changed too. I know that for me, it's my dad. He's always going to be my dad. I love him. But it was different seeing him with another woman who wasn't my mom. And they weren't divorced. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, they fought. Like, no, they loved each other. So this is really different for me to see. But I'm happy that he's doing that. But I'll tell you, it's like that shock. Just because you think in your brain you're okay with it, and then you walk into the situation, you're not, like, woo, this is a little bit shocker. I don't know if I'm okay with it. That's okay. You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to have all your feelings. And grieve as long and as hard as you like. I would ask you to not get in a deep, dark place. I know you miss that parent, that mom, that dad, but they wouldn't want you to stay in a deep, dark place. They'd want you to continue living, especially if you have children. We have to show our kids that there is life after we leave somebody we loved so much and who they loved so much. And like I said, I'll do another video to kind of help you. We've had quite a roller coaster with dealing with my mom's death, both with boys and girls. Whew! I think boys and girls are different. Oh, death has really showed me how different my boys and girls are. But anyways, I really am sorry if you've lost a parent. It stinks. There's nothing cool about death in my book, except for when we all go to heaven and see each other again. That's awesome. But just know that I understand whether you are having a great day or a terrible day. It's okay. And I'll tell you, give yourself that same grace that you would give somebody else. I accept my tears, my grief, what is that when you just can't move? You're just, what do I do? It's tough when the phone doesn't ring and mom's not at the front door anymore. That's a really hard thing to deal with. It's not like, well, you just simply, no. We all grieve in our own way. And I would encourage you to grieve in your own way. Give yourself grace. Look forward, because God does have better days for every one of us, or we wouldn't be here on this earth today. So I know He's got great things planned for us, and we will get through this. And I'll tell you, my mom always told me, oh, Heather, you're so strong. And I always said, no, Mom, no, I'm not as strong as you think. And she said, oh yeah, you're stronger than you think. And after her death, I realized I'm stronger than I think. So not in a way I wanted to be. I didn't want to have this strength. I didn't want to have to deal with this kind of a death. I thought it was going to be way off. I mean, she was only 63. Come on. We had years. I guess God had different plans, but be graceful with yourself. Love yourself. Lean into people. When people offer, say thank you. Say thank you. Because you know what? They're offering because they want to help. So just say thank you and lean into the ones who are loving on you, and rely on God, because He is our number one strength. So y'all be blessed. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.